Coming up, Hurricane Dorian and what you and general aviation can do to help. GA to the rescue for an isolated island community. The FAA says no to this. And an American treasure you can visit from our upcoming Tullahoma fly-in. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haines and Melissa Rudinger.
Welcome to AOPA Live This Week. Tom and Melissa are on assignment. I'm Warren Morningstar. And as we record this Thursday, Hurricane Dorian is lashing the Carolinas and moving slowly up the eastern coast of the United States. Authorities have ordered people to evacuate the coastal areas. And in the Bahamas, near total devastation. The Red Cross estimates that at least half the homes on the islands have been destroyed. Relief efforts are very difficult. Communities are cut off. Many of the island airports are underwater or strewn with debris and not usable. Nevertheless, the general aviation community is joining with many others to get help to people devastated by Hurricane Dorian. And that includes Mark Baker and Tom Haines, along with other AOPA staffers. Now, Tom was originally working on a story in Colorado, but diverted to Florida to help with AOPA's contribution to the relief mobilization effort. He joins us now. And Tom, how can pilots help?
Yeah, Warren, boy, as we've seen, the devastation is terrible in the Bahamas, much worse than even what we saw when we were flying in 2017 after Irma in the Keys. And so there is a lot that general aviation pilots can do. Mostly in this situation, however, the best thing that pilots can do is to support some of the relief organizations with cash, because they need to buy fuel and there are certain supplies that they need. So Aerobridge and Operation Airdrop and some of the others that you can see on our website are a great way for pilots to help. In general, what we're going to be doing in Florida is to help coordinate communication among some of the federal agencies, both in the Bahamas and the United States, and among the groups themselves that I just mentioned and some of the others. There's already airplanes assembling on the Florida coast to help move supplies in as the airports in the Bahamas begin to open up. And so it's going to be a massive effort. It's total destruction on some of the northern islands in the Bahamas, and so it's going to be many, many years before we see recovery down there. So immediately, though, of course, we need supplies to help people begin to rebuild their lives and keep them safe. And so that's why general aviation pilots can really help by donating to some of the organizations that are already at work down there and beginning to move supplies already.
Well, thanks, Tom. And we just established communication with Mark Baker in Florida and got a quick update from him.
The number one thing you can do right now is start donating to some of these groups that are going to be in the area to get these materials done and to make sure that we're working together with as much knowledge as possible. As we learn things, we'll be posting things and updating this several times a day so that we can do this in the best fashion possible. This is a complicated relief effort. There are lots of boats en route, there are lots of airplanes, lots of military traffic, and then we've got two governments at work here, both the Bahamian government and the U.S. government. It's going to be a lot of frustration, and I get it. I ask for your patience. We're going to try and work this thing through as best we can, as fast as we can.
And now, as Mark just mentioned, we have a lot more information for pilots who are looking to help. Just go to our homepage, aopa.org, and click on the yellow bar at the top. We'll show you where you can donate cash and supplies. Now, for example, Sun and Fun and the Aerospace Center for Excellence are collecting supplies at the Lakeland Linder Regional Airport, just as they did in 2017 in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. Starting on Friday, supplies can be dropped off and or shipped to Hangar C, and Sun and Fun will get them where they're needed. Now, we also have information on organizations that are coordinating volunteer relief flights. And at this point, let me say it's critical that you do coordinate your flight. As Mark mentioned earlier, there are a lot of moving parts. It's chaotic, and a solo pop-up aircraft can really cause problems. And it's frustrating for you because if you just show up, there won't be anything for you to do. Communication and coordination are vital in these relief efforts.
Boy, AOPA has a role here of communicating to the general aviation community about the needs and the efforts going on in the relief in the Bahamas, and trying to make sure we can be as coordinated as possible with all the great pilots and all the great organizations that want to do great relief effort, but doing it in a coordinated and safe fashion is what our role is.
And drone maker DJI is reminding drone pilots not to fly in the aftermath of a hurricane. Airspace in a disaster area can be crowded with low-flying helicopters and other aircraft. TFRs can pop up on short notice. Unauthorized aircraft like drones can interfere with relief operations and even ground critical flights until the airspace is cleared. And drone pilots interfering with emergency response could face fines as high as $20,000. Now, that said, drones are expected to play an important role in search and rescue, damage surveys, and restoring public services. DJI, for example, has unlocked geofencing for drones operated by Florida Power and Light. And that company can unlock other drones that are being used by qualified public safety agencies and others on authorized relief missions. Now, if you're in the path of this hurricane or a future one, your obvious first concern is protecting life. But a little farther down the list is taking care of your airplane. And the best thing to do is what the military does. Fly the plane to someplace outside of the hurricane weather. Some insurance policies will even help pay for that. Next best is getting the airplane into a hangar, even if you have to buy a spot for the duration of the threat. Now, we have more tips for you on our website. The address is aopa.org/hurricane tips. And while most civilian and military airplanes are flying away from the hurricane, there are a few flying toward it. This incredible video shows one of NOAA's P-3s flying right through the eye. The brave men and women of NOAA and the Air Force fly around the clock to take important measurements to help with forecasting to warn those in the path of the hurricane. And the flights are continuing as Dorian batters the Carolinas and Virginia. Well, the pilots gearing up to bring aid after Hurricane Dorian are just another example of how general aviation is a powerful tool for making a difference. Along with that theme, we have a story about a group of pilots who used their airplanes to serve the residents of a remote fishing village in Virginia. AOPA Live's Josh Cochran has the story.
Tangier Island on the Chesapeake Bay in Virginia isn't just a scenic place to fly to. For many, it's home, a way of life worth protecting. Grace Pruitt has lived on the island for 86 years.
I love it. I love it.
But Grace and many others on the island are faced with the economic challenges that come with living in this remote fishing village.
Every young man, when they got a certain age, they went to work on the water. Yeah, it used to be a thriving business, but not anymore. Everything is so expensive.
Pilot Mike Mara recognized the tough conditions on Tangier when he and some friends from a flying club in Pennsylvania came to the island for lunch.
And it looked like they were a little down on their luck. So we asked them, is there something we could do, the pilots and other people from the church, is there anything we could do to help? And they said yes.
Mike assembled some flying buddies and friends from church to come to Tangier for a week to help the residents.
Our theme is to make it safer, drier, warmer for the great folks of Tangier Island. Many of them do not have access to help or assistance with fixing roofs, decks, carpentry, plumbing, electric, that sort of thing. So we're here to fill that gap.
5 years later, the group has grown to nearly 40 people from churches around the area. It's all about being a blessing to the residents of Tangier.
My wife and I, we attend Carlisle Evangelical Free Church. And we believe that Jesus Christ is our Savior, and He has given so much to us, and He has blessed us so much. And we feel like we need to go and we need to bless other people because of the love that Jesus showed us.
If it wasn't for these guys fixing my roof, I just wouldn't have the funds to fix it on my own. So they really are a godsend.
And general aviation is essential to this work.
If it wasn't for general aviation, I'm not sure we could do it. We come down here several times throughout the year, pilots that are members of AOPA and have small aircraft, and we land at this great little airport to go scope the work. If we can't scope the work, then we won't know what skills are needed, what tools we have to have, and more importantly, what materials we have to have on the island weeks in advance of our projects. There are no big hardware stores here, so everything has to be shipped in. So these reconnaissance trips by small airplane allow us to do precision planning, so when we get here, we're able to go to work right away and make every day count.
The work on Tangier is encouraging to the residents and gives them hope for a bright future despite the challenges.
Many people have said that we're not worthwhile, we're not worth saving, we're a dying breed, but we have a history here and we've been generational in what we do. We're proud of our island and proud of the commitment that we've made to it, and when we have groups come out to help us and to lend a hand and to offer us hope, it makes us feel like that we are worth something, and it gives us hope for the future and something to look forward to, and it encourages us to keep on keeping on.
Josh Cochran, AOPA Live.
Oh, what a great story. Those folks are really doing some nice work on Tangier Island. And by the way, if you ever have the chance to fly to Tangier Island, it is a wonderful place to visit. Truly a slice of our historic past and a wonderful opportunity. And we hope they don't get beat up too badly by the hurricane coming up the coast. Well, when we come back, a new record in putting more pilots back in the air, and a visit to an historic, iconic site just a bit over yonder from our upcoming Tullahoma fly-in.
There are many important things to consider before purchasing an aircraft. Let the experts at Aerospace Reports help guide you through the process. We combine expert knowledge with our long-standing commitment to personalized customer service to perfect your transaction. Learn more at aerospacereports.com.
Well, welcome back. It's a major accomplishment. 2 years have passed since general aviation pilots were given the choice to bypass the hoops and hassles of third-class medical certification with Basic Med. And now more than 50,000 aviators are enjoying the freedom to fly under the new rule. And even as Basic Med has helped thousands get back in the air, there are some misconceptions about what is required for Basic Med pilots here at the 2-year mark.
So at the 2-year mark, all you have to do is go back into the Basic Med landing page, log in to the medical self-assessment course, go through the course again. The physical examination that you should have had done as part of your Basic Med exam 2 years ago is not required.
The physical exam is required every 48 months. If you have questions about Basic Med, visit our website or give our medical experts in the Pilot Information Center a call. Well, when we first read this, we thought it was a missive from Captain Obvious. The FAA wants you to know that drones and weapons are a dangerous mix, and it's illegal. Like, don't mount a gun on your drone, or a flamethrower. So even if you've seen it done on the internet, just don't do it, okay? Well, this week, what was billed as the largest commercial drone event of the year took place in Las Vegas. And much to the delight of many of the drone operators attending, FAA's number 2 said that we're moving much closer to regular commercial drone operations in the nation's airspace.
We're making big progress on real-world testing for how to safely and securely integrate drones into the national airspace, or the NAS. And we're developing or delivering new rules to codify what we're learning so that drones can become regular participants in NAS operations rather than just special or waivered one-offs.
AOPA sits on the FAA's Drone Advisory Committee, and we continue to advocate for safe integration to ensure that drones stay out of the way of aircraft. Well, the AOPA fly-in to Tullahoma, Tennessee is next weekend. There's plenty to do and see, but there's one very special opportunity. The Jack Daniel's Distillery is just a few miles away, and they are welcoming pilots to the grounds. You can see how this Tennessee whiskey is handcrafted by taking a tour of the distillery. AOPA Live's Paul Harrop has a preview.
It's a trip back in time to present-day Lynchburg. Deep in the holler, you'll find a place that's produced the same famous Tennessee whiskey for generations.
We might be producing enough whiskey here for the entire world, but it's still being produced every drop right here in the same holler that Jack was making it.
You'll see the process from start to finish, from making charcoal to making barrels, and you'll learn a lot about the craftsmanship.
The fact that craft doesn't mean it's being made in your dad's garage. Craft doesn't mean small. It means that you do as much as possible for yourself. For us, grinding the grain, growing the yeast, grinding the charcoal and making the charcoal, building our barrels, producing the whiskey in the same spot the original founder of the distillery made it.
And you'll get to visit the springs where every drop of water has come from.
It's a cold, mineral-rich and iron-free water.
You'll stand in the footsteps of Jack himself, where he put his first still just outside the cave with the spring. The overhang, still coated in soot from fires Jack used to distill his early whiskey. Just a few feet away, his original office.
That's the original desk and chair, that's the original stove, and that's the original safe. The man that we're here for is the man right there over the mantle. We call him Jack, but his real name was Jasper. He never got married, he never had kids. When he passed away at 61, he gave the distillery to his nephew, Lem Motlow. Lem was his bookkeeper. So this is where all the paperwork was done right here at this desk.
And across the room, the safe that led to Jack Daniel's death. Find out more on the tour. But after walking through these grounds, seeing the process from start to finish, you'll have the option of sampling the range of products you've just seen made.
We're still a dry town, so there's no liquor by the drink in Lynchburg, but we are allowed as a manufacturer to offer a sampling tour. So if people choose to do that, they can sample up to 5 products, so just a small tasting of different ones that is really largely educational.
But no matter what your preference, it will be mighty hard to leave the holler without a whole new appreciation for this storied brand and the stewards it's seen over the years.
It's a little piece of Americana.
A great place to spend a few hours, for sure.
The tour is about a lot more than just whiskey. It's about the history of those spirits and the people that have made it for 150 years. Things you'll learn a lot about if you come on this tour. In Lynchburg, Tennessee, Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.
Well, thanks, Paul. AOPA will be providing free shuttle service to and from the distillery on Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now be sure to wear comfortable clothes and walking shoes. Plan to spend several hours learning the rich history of America's oldest registered distillery. And we shouldn't have to tell you this, but remember, don't drink and fly at least 8 hours from bottle to throttle. And speaking of flying, soberly, of course. Everything you need to know about flying to Tullahoma is in a video on our website, aopa.org/flyin. We hope to see you there next weekend. And that's our show for this week. Please share the show with others and hit that like button on YouTube. Comments are always appreciated. The email address is there on your screen. And we hope to see you back here next Thursday for the next edition of AOPA Live This Week.